Beginner 10 dress tutorial. Sew along with me. Open back look, no zipper, no buttons, bias binding. Sew with me step by step. Pattern link below. Fabric. I'm using a linen viscose blend. Check the instruction to see how much you'll need. Fusible stay tape, 1 cm wide. Bias tape. If you don't want to cut your own, you can buy ready-made. Just make sure it's cotton, about 2.5 meters. Pins. Universal sewing needle, size 70 or 80, a hand sewing needle, tailor's chalk, big fabric scissors and small scissors, perfect for cutting threads. Thread in the color of your fabric, 1 spool if you sew only on the sewing machine, and 3 more spools if you plan to use a serger. And the most important things, a sewing machine, a serger if you have one. If not, you can finish the edges on a regular machine. And an iron with steam. Before we start, print the pattern at 100% scale. On the first page you'll find the layout diagram, the test square and all the printing info. Make sure to read it. Put the pattern pages together following the layout. I use glue and scissors. On each page I cut off the left and top margins. Then glue the pages one by one. This pattern is easy. You can join the front and the back separately. Just make sure the lines match. Now let's cut the pieces. For the dart, just cut one side and fold the other. It's easier that way to line up the side seam. And at the end, don't forget to snip the notches. Okay, don't repeat my mistakes. Watch all the little details or you'll end up digging through the trash later. Let's get the fabric ready. I washed it at 30 degrees, let it dry, and now I'm pressing it with a steam. That way the finished dress won't shrink later, because that would be such a shame.
Hello, I'm Anna and welcome to my floor. Today we are cutting out the dress right here.
Let's pick the right size and fold the fabric just like the instructions say. I'll show you the version with 2 folds. Fold both selvage edges toward the center. Keep the fold straight along the grain line, so everything stays even. First, let's mark where the bias strips will go, if you want to cut them from the main fabric. But if you're a beginner and sewing for the first time, I recommend using ready-made cotton bias tape. You can try cutting your own next time. Next, place the dress pieces on the fabric. Match the fold line on the pattern with the fabric fold. It's really simple. Put something heavy on the pattern pieces. I use my favorite books. Then pin the pattern to the fabric so nothing moves around. That makes cutting so much easier. Trace the pattern with chalk. On the front, draw the dart first, then fold the paper and trace the side seam. Cut the front and back pieces, and remember, don't cut the dart, just leave it marked. Carefully snip the notches with the tips of your scissors, just about 3 mm. Also snip the ends of the dart the same way, just a tiny cut is enough. Let's copy the dart to the second piece. 1 pin in a point, a few pins in the lines through the both layers. Flip the pieces to the other side and mark the spots with the chalk where the pins are. Now take out the pins and use a ruler to connect the marks. After that, you can check yourself by placing the paper pattern on top of the fabric pieces. I move to the table and cut the bias strips. Check the pieces match the pattern, then cut. Keep the fabric flat on the table, never cut in the air. First I cut the bias strips from folded fabric, so each strip gives me 2 pieces. Then I open the fabric and cut 2 separate strips. This way we get all the pieces we need. Cutting even bias strips is not easy. That's why ready-made tape is a good option. I'll show you how to use it too. Last step. Mark the wrong side on each piece, so you do not mix them up later.
All set. Let's start sewing.
I'm starting with the front piece. Place wrong side up on the ironing board and find the mark for the slit. Take the stay tape and fill it with your fingers. The rough side is the glue side. Place it glue side down along the slit edge, from the mark down to the hem. Now press the tape with the iron. Don't slide, just lift and press, moving the iron from spot to spot. Do the same on the other side of the slit, then repeat on the back piece too. In total you'll have 4 taped sections. And now the fabric is ready for sewing. Let's do the darts. Place the front piece right side up and fold it at the dart. First, match the dart ends, then pin along the dart. Check from both sides that it's straight, and at the end mark the dart point with a separate pin. If you are new, baste the darts and take out the pins. Leave just the point. That way the darts stay nice and straight. Now let's sew the dart on the machine. Start at the wide end, backstitch and sew towards the point. At the point I don't backstitch, I just tie the thread ends in a few knots. Take out the basting. Press the dart. Be careful not to press the area about the dart by mistake. Just keep the iron on the dart only. Next, for larger sizes, press the dart down. That's what I'm doing here. For smaller sizes, press it up. Flip to the right side and press the dart point in circles. If your iron leaves marks, use a cotton cloth on top. Now the shoulder seams. Place the front and back pieces right side together and match the shoulder edges. Sew on the machine with a back stitch at the start and at the end. Next, let's finish the seam allowances. You can use a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine with 2 to 3 mm, length 2.5 mm. It looks nice and works well, or use a serger if you have one, that's what I prefer. On the serger, stitch with the back piece on top. Stay at the machine. Finish all 4 side seam allowances, front and back. Don't pull, the fabric can stretch. Good job! Now press the seams. Press the shoulder seams and trim off the shorter tails. We don't need them. Then press the seam allowance towards the front. Yes, front. After that, press the finished side seams on the front and back pieces. Now place the front and back right side together. First, match all notches. That's important. Then line up the edges and pin to the slit mark, or all the way for the short dress. Sometimes the edge still stretches out, like it did for me on the second side. In this case, still start by matching the notches. Then press out the extra fabric and pin. If the top doesn't match, maybe the dart wasn't sewn perfectly or there was a small cutting mistake. Don't worry, press it flat, push the extra up and trim later. Sew the pieces together on the sewing machine, adding back stitches at the start and end. And take pins out as you go, don't stitch over them. Saves your needle and your eyes. Trim the extra fabric carefully if you have it. Just a little, don't overdo it. Press the seams flat, then press the allowances open to each side. It's easiest if you slide the dress onto the ironing board. Little tip, you don't need fancy tools. Just press, then put a book on top. It traps the steam and keeps the seams super flat. When you reach the slit, keep pressing the edges. Fold them in by 1 cm and press. Now the bias strips. Take 2 pieces and place them right side up in front of you, lining them up as if they were already one long strip. Then fold one over at the diagonal so they meet right side together. Line up the corners so they stick out about 1 cm on each side and pin the edge. Join 4 pieces into one long strip and make 2 shorter strips, each from 2 pieces. Sew the strips with back stitches. Press seams open and trim the corners. Fold the strips in half lengthwise and press. All 3 bias strips are ready. Now grab a short one and let's do the armhole first. Turn the dress right side out. Step a little away from the side seam towards the back and place the bias strip on the armhole. Fold facing down. Pin the bias to the edge. When you get back to the starting point, overlap the tape ends. Find where they cross and mark a small snip with your scissors through all 4 layers. Then open out the tape ends, place them right side together, match the notches and pin. Sew from notch to notch with back stitches at both ends. Trim extras, then cut the little corners off. Spread the allowances open. You can even press them with the iron. Fold the tape again and pin to the armhole. Turn the dress wrong side out, place it right side up under the foot. Stitch the tape 1 cm from the edge. Check the shoulders and side seams. No bumps under the tape. Now trim a bit off, about ½ cm. Keep it flat and at bulky spots turn your scissors away so you don't snip the dress. And at bulky seams, snip inside a bit more. But don't get carried away. Fold the bias to the inside and pin, or better, baste near the fold. If you are just starting, baste it. Trust me, it helps a lot. Okay, press the armhole again, then stitch from the right side, foot along the edge. That's about 0.7 centimeters from the edge. The basting shows us exactly where the base edge is, and at the end backstitch a bit over the start. Take out the basting and press the seam flat. Cotton bias now, same steps again. Prep the bias. Press it open, then fold in half and press. Store-bought bias is usually stiffer. Just steam it with the iron to round it out. Lay the tape down, steam it, guide it into a curve with your hand. Keep the fold on the outside of the curve. Pin the bias all around the edge. Join the ends so the tape makes a closed loop. Before stitching the bias, measure its width. Mine's smaller, so I'll sew it at about half a centimeter. And now same steps as before. Sew, trim, fold, baste and sew again. Make sure not to go past the basting line. Steam press the armholes and neckline. Use the skinny end of the board. Super handy. Last step, the hem. Mark 1.5 centimeters from the bottom. Fold up the hem to the line and press. You can pin the allowance right to the ironing board. This keeps it straight and saves your fingers from the steam. Press, take out the pins, press again. Fold the hem up again, the same amount, and give it a good press. Now we've got a double fold hem, nice and clean. If you've got a slit, turn the dress face up and fold the slit allowance to the outside. And don't worry, we'll turn it back later. Pin all four ends of the slits to keep them in place. Stitch 1.5 centimeters from the edge, just the length of the slit allowance, about 1 centimeter. Backstitch to secure. Then cut the corner and flip the slit allowance back to the inside. Press the corners and pin them down. Baste close to the edge. Then stitch on the machine from the right side, using the width of the pressure foot as your guide. And let's start with the slits. At the top of the slit, stitch a little square that holds the seam allowances and keep it strong. After stitch the hem, start and end all the slit top stitching. Keep it tidy. Take out the pasting and press the seams flat.
Final press and the dress is done. Now I'll get changed and go and give this dress to my friend. Oh my god, she's so happy, and I hope your dress makes you just happy. I can't wait to see you make